ready to go, but I can.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Habitat Now. I'm your host, Aaron Schey, and thank you for once again joining me via Zoom from your safety of your own homes. We're hoping that the pandemic ease is going to be multiplying so we can start seeing each other again. There's lots of events coming up. We have our international coming up in April. I know May is jam-packed with all kinds of events that we'll talk about too in future Zooms, including the Smithsonian, and then Corning has a big event for Lino, and then there's an event at the gas conference. So it's going to be an exciting time. I hope seeing a lot of your faces live and in person if we can get together. So, but without further ado, I'm going to take over your screens with this magical service we have called Zoom. And I will start talking a little bit about our upcoming international. So it's our 50th anniversary of this exhibition. We had our 50th anniversary of the gallery last year, and that was 1971. The gallery was founded, and in 1972 is when we've had our first national. So that's what we're celebrating. And we're celebrating the Year of Glass, which is the International Year of Glass. And we're doing it in our own way, celebrating what we love. And the RSVP's cards have just been sent to everybody. So if you haven't got one, let me know. If you want to learn more about the show, you can call me personally. You can RSVP on our website, but there's all kinds of fun events. And it's going to be great because we haven't had this show in person since 2019. So their space is limited. We're starting to put out some promotions. This beautiful Lucy Lyons piece, you're looking at half of it. There's another piece that's next to it that's going to be in the show. It already arrived to the gallery. Lucy's ahead of the ball. And I'm waiting, she won't tell me how much it costs yet, but I wanted to give people a glimpse into it. It's called Doppelganger, but it's going to be incredible. One of the showstoppers, along with Laura's piece. You guys saw this yesterday if you were a part of the AACG's Zoom. She was showing off this beautiful, incredible piece. And during our weekend, we have a news story that we're going to be experimenting with, and you are our experimental people. We are going to stage a house full of Habitat's family artist glass artwork. We have a house that's incredible. It's in Rochester. I have assigned my brother, who is the best at this kind of thing. He's going to be decorating the house with the glass artwork from the gallery's inventory, and it's going to be kind of something new and different for you guys to see and explore. And then we have the 12 Jars exhibition, which is the Path of Life. And we invited 12 artists to create a jar form that's 36 inches tall, each one. So it's going to be on display in our display room of the vault. Very dramatic. It's going to be very interesting. You're looking at your very first piece here. This piece was made by artist Michael Janis. And it's LED lit with a battery pack from the bottom. And it actually is 36 inches tall from base to the top. And the top comes off, the base comes off. It is an incredible piece, and I'm looking forward to seeing it in person. We're going to have our auction as usual. Many of you are aware of that. We've done that since the 90s. We're going to be doing a raffle, which is kind of fun. Those who RSVP get one ticket per person this time, so you have a better chance of winning. And we're giving away a limited by Tammy Coatsworth, this beautiful crayon set. I own one personally, and I love it. We had these released through Habitat Limited. So on with the show. So I want to welcome Daniel Coyle to this presentation. He's our March exhibitor for Not Grandma's Glass, and he is incredibly talented. And I'm so eager to learn more about him and his career and what he's been doing, and how the world he comes from, which is the functional world, is so much different than what we have here in our Habitat family we have already. We did have John Bowley, I believe, last year in Not Grandma's Glass, and he made some incredible presentations. So we're honored to have Daniel today. So without further ado, welcome Daniel to our Habitat family, and I'll have you take over the screen. Give me 1 second to get out of it. Over here, stop sharing. All right, you can jump in there and to share your screen. Take your time. Never easy to get the screen taken over.
Right.
But
let me see.
Click the green button. There you go, and there you go. Okay, we can see your full screen.
Boom. You can see my face too.
Yep, we can see you in the side, so worry not. Well, thanks for joining us
that
today.
Looks really good. I mean, I just want to say I wish I lived closer so I can come to those events. And I just had a question. Was that first piece, I think you said it was USA or whatever, was that all kiln cast or?
That Michael Janis jar piece, or which one are we talking about?
No, the first piece that
yeah, you're talking about Lucy Lyon. Yeah, it's cast,
like plating,
cast and cold worked.
That's incredible. I know how much effort and time goes into those.
Yeah, pieces. And the scale can be incredible. She has pieces that are 60 inches tall sometimes, so it's wild. She's great too.
Yeah. Well, cool. Yeah, I'm Daniel Coyle, aka Coyle Condenser. That's just like what I've gone by for a while. And I started blowing glass, lamp working. I do flame working in 2003. And I went to Salem Community College to study scientific glass blowing. And that's why they call me Coyle Condensers, because I used to make coil condensers. This was me doing a demonstration at one of the American Scientific Glassblower Society meeting. I believe it was in 2010, and they do it in different states every year, and this was in Texas. So about a year after this, I decided to quit my job, and I wanted to go and pursue just trying to make my own artistic vision in pipes. And so this is probably about the next year. And I'm working on this. It's just a clear form piece. I do most of my work at the bench using propane and oxygen field torches. And with my scientific background, I mix a variety of scientific techniques as well as like color application. I know this is clear, but I just wanted to preface it. So when I first got into pipe making, I started making this project called the Money Project. And so this was a project, this is not my design. It's a company that makes vinyl toys called Kid Robot. And so they make all different versions of toys that they do official collabs with artists, painters, sculptors, but they never do any with glass artists. But this one specifically called a Money, it's do it yourself. So you can buy one of these and like a 6-inch version, a 12-inch version. If you're a painter and you can paint on it, you can put Sculpey on it and make it your own. So my whole concept between the Money Project is what I called it, was that I was going to take this form and bring it to all the pipe makers in the industry to have them make their own. So this would be the base shape. And so here's an example of what I did with, and this is 4 different pipe artists in a row. I was trying to keep the form very consistent and have them throw their style on the piece. And the thing about the pipe makers, like motifs and stuff, it's like, it's very recognizable to their collectors and anybody in the scene, but it's such a niche part of glass that like, if you're not really familiar with it, you wouldn't know. But I could show this picture to like almost any collector of pipes or pipe makers, and they would know every artist that made these. And so this is another example. These are made all with one artist, that my friend Ryan O'Keefe, and he had so many different ideas of what to make. So we made a big grip of 8 of these, and I believe these were, what I'm showing is all from like maybe 2012, 2013. I retired this project. I no longer do this project anymore. Just because I felt like it wasn't my own design. And then I was just, I wanted to make my own work. But on the bottom right-hand side, these 2 are made with Zach Puckowitz, who maybe people might be more familiar with because he kind of like crosses the boundary between pipe making and fine art and whatnot. He's recently got a piece into Corning's permanent collection in their contemporary wing. The top is my friend and artist Kim Thomas, who's starting to make waves in her own work. She does a lot of more assemblage pieces and rather than pipes. I'll go on. And so from there, like, I still do a lot of collaborative work. But I came up with my own like bear design, and like, so the reason why I chose bears is because it was like my mother's favorite animal, and like I wanted to sculpt something a little different than what those I was making at the time, like those Money projects. And so this was a nice collab that I wanted to show off that I did with my friend Calvin Mickle. We did this I think in 2019. He came out here, and it's supposed to be a traveler, like this birdhouse guy, and they're traveling through the country and they're bringing everything that they need with them. And I had a lot of fun working on like the pots and pans and all the individual attachment, like the fish. This is just an all-around like fully done piece.
Go back to that piece for a second, just talking about like average collaboration you do. Like, it happens a lot in the pipe world. How do you like How do you do that? How do you work so well with people for one project? Because it's usually so difficult in the glass world where I come from for collaborations to work.
Well, with the flame work, and we get a lot more leeway because we can garage stuff. We like have to garage stuff. We have to take our time, and it gives us more opportunity for tweaking the design and for playing with it, you know. And we'll have sketches done. We'll come up with different ideas, and then as we're working, you know, you kind of like decide something might look a little better on there. And I mean, the scale of this piece, I want to say it's maybe 7.5, 8 inches tall. So it's not like none of these pieces are incredibly big, but that doesn't mean this took us still, I think, about like 7 to 8 days of work to make happen, just because of, you know, the medium. It's a quick paced medium, but it can be, you know, slow.
Especially when you're working together. Is there times where the collaboration falls apart?
It falls apart as in like breaks.
Yeah, like it doesn't ever come to fruition. Like you have a
Oh,
plan, it just
yeah,
doesn't work.
sometimes like we'll have a plan and we'll end up scrapping it. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously if something breaks, we try to fix it. We have that ability, and we use borosilicate glass, and it's got this resilience, so we can remake parts, so we can fix a lot of mistakes, you know.
Yeah, right.
But no, we usually go in with some sort of plan, or like kind of a loose idea, and just kind of piece it together as we're working. So I think there's gonna be more. I can't like really see what's coming up next on this, but this is another collaboration I made with Luke and Schey. He goes by Salt Glass. This is actually in the Not Grandma's Glass exhibition. I wrote a whole write-up on it under there, but I mean, the basis is we made this at Corning during his class, and the glass color that we used is it's called gun mount glass, and it was this little tiny piece of borosilicate glass that they would use to manufacture CRT TVs, those old school TVs. And so it's an extinct color now, but Corning manufactured it, and they only made different colors to differentiate between the different models and manufacturers of TV, like Panasonic or Sony or something. But somehow us lamp workers that use borosilicate found these little pressed pieces of glass and found out that they would actually work and be compatible. So
Great.
Corning used to manufacture it. We decided to make this entire piece out of that. And this one's substantially bigger. It's maybe about 1 inch tall. Yeah, like I said, there's more right up on that. So this is another collaboration with my friend Rocco Glass, and this is a send up to me and him are really bonded over our love for lowbrow art. And I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with the artist Robert Williams or Ed Roth or any of that stuff. Robert Williams is this painter that he kind of came up with the coin term lowbrow art. But anyways, just a send up to that. You know, it's a bear. There's a thing called Rat Fink that Ed Roth created back in the day. It's kind of a wild, crazy, like hot rod guy riding on a hot rod. And so this is our send up to that. A little bit more detail from the face. This is also another send up that me and my friend Rocco made for, this is a character that painter Robert Williams made called Coochie Cootie. And I made this big giant coffee mug. This is really thick glass. It's probably about maybe 100 millimeters tall by 90 millimeters diameter. Very heavy. And my friend Rocco, what he did on this was he drew down glass stringers to almost like hair size, and then he hand drew it in the flame. Free-handed the whole thing with glass stringers, which I don't know if anybody's familiar with how difficult that is. I think it's one of the most difficult things to do. So just want to explain. So here's some of my work. One of these pieces is actually in the show, the Not Grandma's Glass. And these are Kung Fu Monkeys. It's a series that I'm kind of working on. It's still an open series. I think I've made 5 so far total. And it's just a study in form and in movement. Sculpting in glass is already difficult enough, but then to make something that shows movement or flow, or doesn't just have like, you know, Gumby arms on it, you know, it's just very difficult. And so that's I tackled these. I was really happy with how they came out, and I just I don't know, trying
They're
to
very
work on
fun.
more detail.
They definitely have the
Yeah.
motion you're talking about. The
Yeah.
other two, have they found a home already?
Yes, they have.
Good.
Um, hmm and yeah, obviously the clothing too, trying to work on how to do different clothing techniques. I like to refer to some of my work sometimes as maybe like cartoon realism, where
Mm.
it's like, I don't know, it's like still playful, but like sort of looks real-ish, almost like
Yeah.
it could be alive. And I guess I should explain why I make monkeys. I make monkeys because they're my favorite animal. And when I started sculpting glass, I wanted to, just make something that I enjoyed. And I still haven't gotten tired of it. And then, I came up with all these other, they're the closest to humans, like closest animal to us as a species. And I can put them in different positions, like different, career forms or whatever. I could make one that's like a chef or a cook or whatever. And I've done like self-portrait ones, like of those kind of things of maybe some skateboarding or painter monkey. Anyways, let me continue on. There's another.
The detail is great on these. They just
Yeah.
goes to show how much time and effort you come along to create. Even like I've seen work sometime where the scale's not right and you've really nailed it on
Oh
those
yeah.
pieces.
I always am my own worst critic, but I try to use proportion, so
Mhm.
depending on how big I start, I usually start either with a head or a torso. And
Yeah.
then with my scientific background, I use a lot of calipers and measuring and try to get stuff close. And since they're organic forms, you have a little bit more leeway with as far as symmetry and whatnot. Like, it could be a little bit off.
You
But
mentioned earlier about the garage too. That means just putting pieces aside and keeping them warm. Is that what that means?
yeah, so for
Okay.
instance, I could make a hand and I'll have it on a piece of like 6 millimeter rod, and I have a kiln with this garage door that flips, that can go open, and I can just have the rods sticking out of it. And then
Mm.
like with borosilicate glass, it's really unforgiving. You could be able to pull that out and bench cool it, whereas like the big hot shop style glass or kiln casting, like you really have to like anneal it for a very long time.
Right.
And
Interesting.
yeah, there is a different annealing schedules and cycles that I will use on a finished piece of glass. But if it's unfinished, I know I should be able to like just pull it out and bench cool it, but I'll just kind of leave it in the kiln for 15 to 30 minutes and let all those molecules in the matrix of the glass get all happy,
Mm.
and then turn off the kiln, and it should come down to temperature within 3 hours. And that's a good enough time in the middle of working on a piece. If I just have like the hands and arms done and a head
Yeah.
all unassembled, it should be fine. Which is like we're pretty lucky to do that. But that's why we can spend months and months on pieces if we wanted to, just because we have that ability to make different parts and garage it and cool it down.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah, and so I take inspiration from other like artists, obviously, like I was talking about the lowbrow art movement, and obviously, big fan of like traditional art or fine art. And Leonardo da Vinci is like one of the best famous artists, and so this is an idea I had been wanting to do for a long time, and it took me a while to figure out how to execute it. So this ring that you see, the outer ring is I think it's a 9-inch ring total, and it's all hollow tubing. So, and then where the top hands go, those hands are connected into the ring, and it's all hot assembled. That square part is all solid rod, and that's just tacked on with like clear attachment bits. And these are all pipes that I'm showing you. So you up in the very top, you see a little hole. That's where you can use it, smoke out of it. But I don't know, it was just really technical. It took me a long time to figure out how to get this in there in that hollow ring. And I don't know, I just remember like nailing it the first time, and I was like very surprised because it's just really technical. But yeah, shout out Leo da Vinci. And then what we do is we make pipes. So like I thought it'd be really cool to make a Sherlock Holmes Sherlock pipe, and like in sort of a send up to like the old meerschaum pipes people would use for smoking tobacco. And it's just funny and challenging, just trying to have fun with it too. Sometimes just make stuff that I thought would be cool. This is an older piece I made called Jumping Monkey, and it's more of like a diorama piece. It is a functional piece, but these blades of grass are two separate pieces, and the monkey is its own separate piece. And obviously there's I think that's a foot long, foot by foot square box that I filled with sand. And I have like the next one this one is also in the Not Grandma's Glass show. This is the second version, Bush Monkey. And that's about the same scale, but instead of using sand, which I thought was a little cheesy, I made all these individual blades of grass, and there's holes drilled in the wood, and then that's how those are attached in there. So it's just supposed to be this nice, I don't know, viewpoint. And sometimes like, I didn't go to art school or anything, so whenever I do these talks, I always just have to give a disclaimer that I was never trained how to talk about my artwork. And sometimes like I just want to make it because I thought it'd be cool, and like I could make up a reason why, but I think that's an acceptable thing for somebody that creates to say. I don't know.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. You're expressing your vision, and that's how it is. So great stuff.
Yeah, a little detail on that shot. This piece is pretty special to me. It was in this show, the first pipe show. It was a Center of Contemporary Art I think it's COPA, Center of Contemporary. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the exact spot, but it was in the Northeast. It was in Seattle, maybe near Tacoma, and they rented out this building, did a big show, this pipe artists. And this piece is pretty significant. It was really heavy for me. It was about, I would say maybe 14 inches tall, and everything's hot assembled, like I said, and like it's supposed to be like thinking monkey, like what's this monkey thinking about? Looking at like the human race, or like he's just pondering it, and that's just supposed to be maybe like he's looking to the future and maybe evolution but so this piece went into the first big pipe show that was recognized by a gallery on the West Coast. And then I've had this piece in my collection for a little while. And then Habitat in West Palm Beach, I know that you guys are connected somehow.
Yep.
But they did their first pipe show down there. I forget how many years ago it was. And it was like a lot of us, and one of their clients actually purchased this, and I was very happy. It was like the ex-VP of Pfizer or something, and I wish I could remember his name, but he obviously wasn't gonna use it, even when they delivered the piece. That he like said he didn't want like the joint part that you have to put in to smoke weed or tobacco out of, which I just thought was funny that he's like, no, I don't want that part. But I thought it was cool just because he was willing to collect and maybe support me and think about the future of like who knows where everything's going to go in the future, but it doesn't seem like the pipe making is really going to go away. It's like only getting more and more prevalent,
Yep, I see the energy. You and I talked about the Michigan Glass Project that's here, and the amount of energy that's involved in that show down at the Russell Industrial, and the young people, which is what old people say about young people, really, really enjoy glass, and this is the aspect of it they love, and it's a whole experience thing, and the prices are not cheap. The work down there, we were trying to get a small piece for Habatat-Zoom to raffle off, and his pipes were expensive too. So the amount of effort that goes involved in these pieces, and then part of the career of developing them, they're worth every cent. It's just all about the market that wants them.
It is true. And then as artists too, it's like, I guess I could explain a little bit of the history about why it got so blown up. At one point, it didn't start that way, at least I can only speak for my own career. And I was like selling stuff for a lot lower price. And then I had a distributor that was, distributing my work for a wholesale price. Say he got a piece for $400 from me, he would distribute it for $800, and then the store would sell it for $1,600. And he was doing this for a few years, and then we found out about it, and we're like, what's up? Like, that's not really too fair, and it ended up just like, at the time we were bummed about it, but he like kind of drove our prices up, and then that was like at the beginning, and then there was just certain things where it was like the demand for it, like supply and demand, with like collectors like saying, well, like if I was like, oh, I have a wait list, like, well, then like I'll pay extra. And then, you get to a certain point with the value of your work that now I can't drop the value on any of my work, because then anybody that purchased it in the past is going to it's going to hurt them. So I can only try to come up with new designs that I can do lower price and maybe retire old ones.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it. And I just wanted to like I was saying, I wish I could, maybe next year I could have more time to prepare for this show, because what I've put in Not Grandma's Glass is pieces that I've just kept in my collection because they're really expensive. I mean, if you go on the site, they are pretty expensive. I think the lowest price one is maybe $9,000 or something, and that's why they're so expensive, is because price had gotten driven up, and then I can't lower it. So if it's something that I like enough, I'll just keep it in my collection.
Right.
I mean, everything except for the piece that's behind you, Aaron, because we just finished that one, and we have collectors like on deck waiting, but nobody's pulled the trigger yet. And I had my collaborating artists like agree. I was like, well, we can put it in the show and like give it a month, and the collectors can have more time to get their money, or they can get it through you, so.
Either way.
Just a little tangent about the pricing, because it's like always hard. It's always like the elephant in the room, and I haven't found a good way to really explain it. But
this is where an art dealer can come in and help too. We do this all the time. Yeah. We say this is it.
I mean, I guess like the bottom line is I feel very blessed to be where I'm at right now, and like I can make what I want for a living and use my hands, and there's always stressful days. There's lots of work. It's not like, easy per se, but, just feel very blessed to be able to do what I love and support myself. So yeah, I take inspiration from things around me. Sometimes I did a 5-week residency in Costa Rica once, and this is what I made. It was send up to the movie Castaway, with Tom Hanks, and at one point I just kind of felt like a castaway, not necessarily like emotionally or anything, but it's just, going to the beach and hanging out. And it wasn't like a big party trip or anything. It was pretty much, we were working and, eating healthy and just enjoying my friend's local neighborhood who has a glass studio there. And then sometimes I just take, different inspiration from catchphrases. Like there's people that wrench on cars, so like mechanics, like sometimes be termed as a grease monkey, and so yeah, just you could look at this piece and you could know, oh, this is a mechanic that's, we're in the middle of working on something. This is an older piece. This is probably from 2013, and I used fret application. That's why you can see the forehead has all these little pock marks, and that's just, the look of the fret, and it's an older piece. And I like to put some of this in there because I don't even think I can make a monkey face that looks like this anymore, just because I've changed up my style and my process so much that like it would take me many attempts to do it the same process that I was originally using back when I made this. That was in 2013. I think I already said that. And then, like I said, sometimes I just think I want to make something that's cool, and I've always wanted to make an archangel piece, like the Angel of Death, and more modernized with, so he's got Glock 9s in his hand. This piece is pretty small. It's like maybe 5.5, 6 inches tall. I want to make one bigger, but making glass wings is incredibly difficult, like on a larger scale, because they just want to crack really easily.
You got to find a collaborator, man.
I know, right?
Yeah, check out Alexis Silk. She'll show you some wings.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah. Send me links to
will
all these
do.
people. And so I was struggling, like, how am I going to put them on a rock? And so I think I did a good job making this glass look like a rock on the bottom. And
Mhm.
I took a piece of graphite rod and broke it and hit it with a hammer and used the broken textured side as almost like a stamp. And then what do monkeys eat? They eat bananas. So I started doing a series of work with banana motifs in it, and just the same colorway, using white, black, yellow, and sometimes peeling it, sometimes just using that. These are all a grouping of a collaboration with Kiva Ford, who is my friend. He's a well-known artist in his own right. He does a lot of goblet work, large-scale sculpture, hollow blown borosilicate work, but he also is a scientific glassblower, just like I used to be. But he works for the University of Notre Dame now, but he's still producing his own artwork as well as doing his day job. So again, like, this brings it back full circle to the monies, and so this is like almost like my solo money work, and this is supposed to be, it's called peeling monies, and just having the pieces set up in this way, like, you can visualize that it's like peeling down from the top and opening up at the bottom, peeling up on the left and opening on the right. But I mean, I guess I'm explaining it, but this style of work that I like to do, it's like I wouldn't say anything. It's like you just look at that and you realize what's happening,
Yep.
Another monkey motif. This is collaboration with Robert Mickelson, who I don't know if you guys have ever worked with him at
Yep.
Habatat.
Yeah, definitely. I recognized it right away.
Yeah, he's a world renowned flame working artist who is I guess like one of somebody I would look up to when I was younger. I mean, I don't want to butcher his age, but he's much older than me, and he's like someone we've always looked up to when, me and my friends, when we were coming up and learning how to blow glass. And so it was really amazing to get to work with him and collaborate on this piece. And he was doing this series of guns, and of course a banana, like, there's an AK-47 that carries a banana clip in it. As far as like guns go, it's a pretty well-known thing, a banana clip. So we decided to do that, and then I just thought it'd be funny to have a little monkey gunning for you on the top. So I'm very proud of this piece. Came out really clean, and this is not full scale, but we did I forget what we did. I'd have to ask him about it. I think it might have been like 30 or 40% scale, because we printed off. We used Photoshop to scale down the weapons, and then we use that as a diagram. All right, so I usually wanted to talk about the Mullen Art Classic, which is something that I've been part of for since its third year. It's getting to be its like seventh year, and this is my friends in Huntington Beach that put together this event, and they bring together usually as many artists as they can find. Like, we've done like 26 different artists, and instead of it being a competition, like how like Blown Away is like a competition or whatever, like, where our idea is like instead of having people battle against each other, we can all get like so much more accomplished working together. So this is my friend Adam Hubry, who is he's pretty much the leader of the Mullen Classic. Like, it wouldn't have happened without him, and he does all these main maneuvers, but you can see the scale of what he's working on now. And this, I wasn't able to come to this one, but I mailed him a little part in it. But it was supposed to be a shipwreck piece. There's probably 20 something artists working on it. This is one of the biggest ones that we have done. This is 4 foot tall, 2 foot wide, and it weighs just over 50 pounds, all hot worked borosilicate glass. It's like enormous. Then this is 27 artists on this one. We were trying to estimate the amount of time that went into it, but I think it was over 3,000 hours, and we couldn't even really guarantee if that was a low estimate or not. So
Where do these works live now after these kind of?
this one is in his collection. Like, I mean, it's for sale. We've shown them, but these pieces are very difficult to move. So he might bring them to like an event in Las Vegas or something that we go to, because he can drive from Huntington Beach there.
It'd be great to see them in public display.
Oh yeah, and he's trying to like approach not museums, hotels and casinos for something like because like they have an art budget for those, like not even just in Las Vegas but anywhere, but that's a whole other thing to navigate, and he's trying to get some help with that. But he also was trying to get into the Laguna Beach art show, which is a big art show that happens down there, and he got to the final round this year but didn't make it. And we were trying to talk with Corning about maybe trying to help display them or something if they ever wanted to do a show, but like I said, with how the transportation work, it's very difficult like to get them around.
Since you bring that up, that was a great question I had. For people like yourselves in this pipe working world, for museum exhibitions, right? And I understand the idea of wanting to get in a hotel, but usually the work moves too fast to make it in a museum. That's why you have commissions waiting, and then pieces get sold, bills to pay, all that kind of stuff. Has there been any effort to try to get into a museum show to expose what you guys do, or you do in particular, to the world in that kind of style, or is there no interest in that?
There is. I mean, like Corning's planning to do a pipe art show in the next 3 or 4 years or something. I've approached local galleries and like New York, like that I like the painters that they carry and stuff, but it's just it's just hard. It's just difficult to communicate through that way. And I don't know. I'm bad with that. And I think what Adam Hubry's like thought process is that the casinos out there in Las Vegas, they might have the money to purchase the pieces, and then like they could put them on display somewhere that they would see them. I mean, casinos have like
space and time,
and I mean, it all depends. It just, he thought it was another avenue to go with, because just showing them in a museum, it's like that's a lot of effort unless the museum is willing to help with transportation costs and whatnot. But
especially
I mean, like there's like the Palms out in Vegas, they have a Damien Hirst piece hanging over their bar. His work, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so it's like that's not even close to the price of this one. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, but anyways, it's just a big piece, and I wanted to show you. There's another slide for the scale. That's our friend Sagan who's working on it. Just to show you the scale, that's his head. So I mean, the whole thing is like pretty big in person, and like we had it on display on this turntable, and people would just stand there for like 40 minutes to stare at it, because there's so much going on to look at. There's a lot of things. And so this was like the last one that we did. This is in 2021, I believe. It might have been 2020 during the whole pandemic thing, like but we still end up getting together. This piece, I forget my I don't have my notes. I can't see them. I think, is there a little? No, I had some notes written down about the actual scale, but this one weighs 50 pounds. It's not as tall as the other one, but it's equal. It's like maybe 2 feet by 2 and 2.25 feet. I forget how many artists. Like I said, sorry, I had a note written on this from a previous slideshow, but I cannot see it for some reason. Yeah, and this is a scale, and so like those last pieces are, this is like our attempt to be more cohesive. Like this is a monster truck, and instead of just making something, having everybody throw a little character on it, we decided to try to make everybody's character monotone. and thrown on the side panel of the monster truck. And so if you look closely, like the side panels are, these are what a different artist would make. You can see on the bottom left, that's even a banana of mine, but just making a monotone, it's like when you back up from the piece, it looks more cohesive as a all in one, and still kind of wild. And so this piece is all hot assembled except for the wheels. They can roll, they come off. The wheels are borosilicate glass. They're 9-inch hollow tires that we sandblasted, and then we coated with Plasti Dip. So this whole thing can like roll, which is why there's like a little piece of glass on the bottom to keep it from moving. Right there, like a little stop. And what else can I say about this piece, except for it's just really incredible, and this took us a long time to do. One of the most intense moves I've ever been part of was trying to get this skeleton guy on top of the car. Like, I guess I should back up to explain. So what Hoobs has done is he's taken a kiln and he's cut the bottom out, and it's on a dolly. That's why this kiln it's on this kiln brick plate. That is from the kiln that you see in the left, and you have to open the door and you pull the whole piece out so that we can get around it and work it. And we try to only keep it out of the kiln for like 2 to 5 minutes and then get it back in. So when we were putting the skeleton guy on this one, the head was like maybe had a 1/2-inch clearance, and we were like needed to get it back in, and it was really intense moves. So anyways,
interesting.
So this is a Molinar classic where we're trying to get like a bunch of people in on a piece, and then Hoobs wants to do these builds. So there was these builds that we're trying to do of iconic cars. So we made the DeLorean recently, and we only made this with 5 artists. This took 5 artists, about I think it was 500 hours total. So here's a little bit of the process. He makes a chassis. It's like everybody, he gets these artists together that he knows that are talented enough to make things in the proportional size exactly how he wants them. So I made these chairs, somebody else made the stick shift, and my friend Adam is like the one that's making the frame and assembling most of it with our help. That's him working on it. So this is just the chassis. We decided to do the DeLorean iconic from the second movie where the wheels are turned sideways and it's flying. And then we'll make the body of the car too, and make that separate. So that's us working on all the body elements. And then with this kiln situation where you can pull his kiln out, he puts the body on. We put the body on top of the chassis and prop it up in a certain way where we can pull it out of the kiln and just kind of hot weld it in a bunch of different spots and then join them that way. So it's fully detailed. And this is Marty McFly on the back part of it. He's riding a hoverboard. I wonder if I have a picture. There's a dog in there. I don't know how long it's been since you guys have seen Back to the Future, but I'm sure most people are familiar with the movie. And the scale, that's me holding it just because I wanted to, but yeah. And so we've done a few other ones. This is the Fear and Loathing car from that movie. We're
love a lizard.
Big fans of Hunter Thompson and that movie in general. And it's like the iconic car, but we're still trying to like push the limits with how much stuff we can fit in there that would be references, to what we're doing. And you see like how the hood is like a little bit, like it looks a little weird. It's not a full hood. You see that it's like it's covered up, but that's because we put an engine in there. We put this clear glass panel on it. So you can see it's like super cool. We used flat borosilicate glass. So obviously you can see like the reflection here. It's just like so amazing to do. And so I mean,
it's fun.
Yeah, I came in on this piece late. These other artists, this is 4 of us, and they had a lot more time in, but I made this engine for them, and then I made this typewriter. We put his typewriter in the back, like Hunter Thompson's. I did not have any hand in sculpting these characters. These were my other friends, but they came out really well. And then I helped do like the function on it. everything's a functional pipe that I'm showing you in the slideshow. And then I made all the bats. And,
Tell me you guys are watching the movie while you're making this.
oh yeah, we watched it a bunch of times, and yeah, so it's funny to like I will do that when I work anyways. I'll put on movies that I've seen a bunch of times just because you don't have to pay attention to them.
Right.
You can, like, if you've seen it enough times, just the dialogue, you can picture it in your mind. So yeah, we watched it quite a few times while we were working.
Where is this piece now? So I can
This
try and
piece
find it in the world.
actually got sold to the biggest dispensary in Las Vegas, and
Cool.
I believe they bought it for $60,000.
That's great.
Yeah, and the way that it worked out was, it was a split. I came in late on the piece, so like every artist that works on it has a share in it, pretty much. Like whoever did the amount of work, we all decide on. I had a lower share. Obviously, I just wanted to. We're not even doing this. These projects aren't even necessarily for the money. We just want to make something that's like bigger than what we can make. But obviously, when money comes into it, you have to be fair about it.
Right.
And
is it all done with a handshake, or do you guys have like contracts in place?
Oh, it's just a handshake. That's and good. Some people have gotten mad, and then then they haven't gotten invited back, and then they get really bummed that they weren't invited back, and we're like, well, you made it all weird,
Right.
Like nobody's like going out there thinking, because there's no guarantees that we'll even be able to finish a piece or
right.
But anyway, so and then the person that sort of middleman the deal, he got a percentage too, and yeah, I mean, and obviously that's a lot of money. I don't know if they did a payment plan or whatever, for it. So, but it did sell. So these big projects, we've only sold 2 of them, and this is the next one that we sold. We sold this one for $100,000. It's Simpsons school bus, and so
awesome.
That's my friend Rocco. He's the smallest one of us in the group, so we always make him hold the piece to make it look bigger. It's like, all right, Rocco, time for the picture, dude. But this one is like our friend bought it. He owns a head shop in near Huntington Beach, and he's super huge Simpsons fan. And it's been over a year. He's still on a payment plan. I don't know. It's a lot of money.
Gotcha.
So, like, we're just glad it went to the right home, I guess. But I made that. If you're familiar with The Simpsons, I made that Milhouse and the Nelson. Milhouse is hanging out by his underwear, and Nelson is in there. I made a bunch more stuff for it, some other characters. This is the same process. So it's a chassis. This was just to test to see if the chassis would fit on top or the body would fit on top of the chassis. So you can see only 2 of the characters are in the seats right now, but in this previous photo, they're adding all the more characters because you have to fill in the whole negative space before you can put the body on. And there's a lot of like small adjustments to be made. I made the crusty face in the back. I thought it came out really cool. And I don't know how's my driving. Just like all these little details we do because we think it just makes it more epic and more fun piece, and
it's great. You guys can just throw ideas out like that and go for it.
Yeah, and this is everybody who made it here. I forget the amount of time that was on it. There was quite a lot of time. I know Adam Hubry, the tallest guy, he probably would know the total hours, but I think I was there for 2 weeks, and because we had so many talented people, we had 6 talented people. There was one other person that was helping with prep work, but it was just incredible to me that we were able to accomplish that in 2 weeks. Like, can you imagine if one person wanted to try to do that entire piece all by themselves? Like that could take you a whole year even. So
yeah,
that's what I mean about just, instead of competition, we're like coming together, trying to make something beyond what is as possible, and I mean, that's kind of cool. I think pretty wild. And then we also made the Cheech Chung ice cream truck from Nice Dreams. And I think this might be the last one. Yeah. And I don't know, what time is it? Hold on, let me check. Okay, so just real quick, I think can I share my desktop? I'm screen sharing the whole screen. Let me see.
Try minimizing that and see if you can.
Can you see
We're only seeing the PowerPoint page right
Yeah,
now.
I think I might have to stop sharing the PowerPoint
Okay.
and then rejoin.
Yep, just click on the stop sharing button. There you go. And then try sharing
All right.
again.
Okay, here we go. So it's just a quick, I don't know how many people are still with us, but so I know I just saw that Habitat, you have your own link with some descriptions of the pieces all laid out on one website. I don't know if
Sort
that's
of.
your,
We have
I
a
don't know if
link.
that's your main.
We have a link to your page.
Okay, so
So
you can, there's a link to my page from Habitat.
for
And
notgrandmasglass.com. Yep.
yeah, not grandma's glass. And so I made a separate header up here, says not grandma's glass. So you can click on that. There's a little description here. And since my mom's here and I know my grandma's watching with her, I said, this is not your grandma's glass, but my grandma loves it. And she saw this piece and told me in person, you know, but you can read all the descriptions. I just wanted to explain that there's these two highlighted words. So you can either click here or here. This is a phone friendly website too. It just doesn't highlight. So there's about me. You can read more. And then there's you can click the button for the showcase, or you can just click right on this image and it should bring you. And this is what the showcase will look for. And you have to click on each individual item. And yeah, and just there's like a write up on it and the pricing and everything else. And this one actually has a link to the live. We did a live stream of us making it at Corning. We just made this piece. It was me, Adam Hubry, and Rhino. And we made it where this is the first pipe that they ever allowed to be made in their amphitheater at Corning Glass. So it's got a little bit of historical value in that, and it's just a really cool big piece, and you can watch some of it being made. And then yeah, like I said, I just wanted to like show a little bit about how to navigate how I laid it out, just because I use Squarespace and this is the best method I figured out. So you have to kind of go back and click back and forth if you want to read more about the pieces or about me. So I really here I'm going to stop screen sharing. So but yeah, I really appreciate everybody tuning in. I know I hope I did a good job. I know it's supposed to be loose, and I feel like you probably got a good feeling for where I'm at and what I hope to accomplish and why I've been making stuff. I don't know.
That's great, man. It's Daniel. It's great to see your passion and the way the world you're in works together. The collaboration pieces that are, like you said, they are masterpieces. Everybody's putting their time and effort without the possibility of selling the thing and making something together in a camaraderie, and that's incredible. And it's what's so important about showing this side of the glass community, because there is that energy and passion that these people have that are in this kind of world like yourselves. And like you said, I'm learning more about it every single time, and I'm looking forward to hearing about the show at Corning. I'll shoot an email off to Susie Silbert to just learn more about that, because I know she's standing behind and you guys and making sure there's part of the future, because it is, whether you like it or not. But the works are available for purchase, and like I said, you can use them for functional or enjoy them non-functional, but it's great to have you part of the show, man. I appreciate it. And I thank everybody for joining us today, and I hope you have a great Saturday. And people seem to be loving.
Is that it? Did anybody have any questions, or that's it? Okay, right.
Yeah, usually people will jump in questions. They really enjoyed it, but it's thank you, man, for being part of this. And what you do is incredible, and I hope you do find a home for this guy, because it's like an incredible amount of work.
Yeah, me too. We were trying to have Corning, purchase it, but it's not that easy with that stuff. It's not just a drop of a hat. So
I can't even get them to take stuff for donation for free.
Yeah. So it's its own whole thing. So,
but don't worry, man. The idea is it's not going away. You take care of it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that when I actually went to that show that Habitat Florida did. I think it was in 2014, and I learned a lot about like the pelican cases that the community uses to transport these delicate objects far from home. And it was kind of enlightening, because you figure a lot of glass is delicate anyway, and this is a really great way to transport your art pieces from home to display. Not everything will work, especially if things get huge and whatnot, but I learned a lot from that experience, and it was great to meet a lot of the guys in your community. I probably met a couple of the guys you named. What's funny is you mentioned Kim Thomas, and she's going to be in our next week's Zoom. She's joining us, and so we're going to be talking about the future of the art medium. And she's local here and went to RISD. And I reached out to her. I don't know her at all, but I reached out to her and said, hey, I'd love for you to join us and put some work in our
Nice.
gallery. So small world,
Nice.
man, small world.
Yeah, I'll have to jump on your newsletter list or something because
Yeah, feel free.
yeah, I want to if I'm around, I want to go check it out.
Yeah, and invite anybody. Well, I hope if we do have the Michigan Glass Project here in Michigan, and you do come by, make sure to stop by and say hi, and I'll probably be down there.
I will.
Well, thank you all for joining us today. I hope you have a great Saturday and enjoy lunch. I'm gonna go enjoy mine. Be well and talk soon. Take care.
All right, thanks, y'all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Welcome.